Hey, what's up, guys? This is Boris, and I actually just got back from a crazy weekend of doing pickup solo, actually, in Cincinnati. And the reason why it was so amazing was I attended this thing called Bunbury Music Festival, which is this 3 day music festival with all these like headliners. Like we had the Killers on Friday, we had Dead Mouse, we had like Florence the Machine. It was it was crazy, and I was actually kind of short on cash, and I was like, what should I do to get in? Should I sneak in? Should I do something crazy? But no, like I actually, my friend, I saw that he decided to volunteer, and he told me that if you volunteer, you actually, well, if you volunteer for two different shifts, 2 4-hour shifts on 2 different days, you actually get like a 3 day pass for the whole weekend. So I'm like, fuck yeah. I'm not gonna have to pay $89. I'm gonna be frugal. I'm gonna be like that typical Asian guy that gets around because I'm cool. So I'm like, fuck yeah, let's do this. So yeah, it was honestly a crazy good experience for doing pickup. Just because there's so many girls that were like out of town. Like I'm pretty sure every set I've talked to told me they're like either from like Columbus, they were from like some girls were from Cleveland, even Indiana, like Louisville. So, when they're out of town, they're usually staying at a hotel, and that also means they're probably, they're probably more down to like do something more wild, get rowdy. They're more like in the hookup mentality per se. But so it was definitely a really interesting vibe they had because this was not really like Ultra Music Festival or Coachella where you had all these like crazy EDM artists or like all these rappers. But Cincinnati is like kind of a small town where there's a lot of families living there, a lot of retired people, and you had like a mix of like college students, like young professionals, and like families and their kids. So I would say it was like kind of a mixed type of vibe. But I think Friday, like a lot of the girls I could see were like more of like the hipster type of girls, which were like more shy and reserved. So I try to approach some of these girls, and they just like had this really weird look at me and like that, like they've never had a guy approach them before, and I kind of had to like go like back off a little bit and like try to calibrate accordingly to like saying like I'm very shy. I don't really talk to girls that much, and I'm sorry if this came off a little bit. I'm sorry if I made you uncomfortable. I had to like really see what they're feeling, not trying to like be like too pushy and be like that creepy guy. So yeah, there was that. But I know on Saturday I actually got there around like 8 o'clock, and I approached this like group of like 6 girls, and I forget what I said, but I just said something like really simple, and then all these girls just their eyes just like lit up, and they basically like started asking me questions like, "Hey, are you actually Korean or are you Chinese?" or just like a bunch of interesting shit like that. And what happened after that is I actually like joined their group, and like I basically became that like cool social guy that like they hung around. And like we went from like seeing like Ice Cube to from the Sawyer Point stage, which was like all the way on the left side, to walking towards the I forget what the stage is called, but like the other side, which was like where Dead Mouse was playing. And like I basically like held hands with them, and like we got all the way up to like the very very front, and like it was just a blast. It was a wild time. Like I eventually like got their Snapchats and connected with them, but unfortunately they were like staying. There was like 7 or 8 people in their hotel, so it was kind of hard to like pull or do anything like that logistically. But I mean, I did what I can. But the point I'm trying to make is, you know, depending on like what kind of artists are playing, you kind of like, the girls will be in that mood of like the music in a way. So I think Tyler talks about this, about how depending, like, you want to come into a music festival and like just absorb the energy and just let the energy, like, let your body absorb that, and then like let it unleash that when you talking to girls, and just like have that, be that fun guy with like the crazy like wacky dance moves, and like, you know, be that like lover hookup type of guy in that frame. So once you have that vibe, it's honestly not hard to like get rejected from sets, because all the girls know you're like just trying to have fun. You know, you're in it for the, you're trying to make a crazy experience. You're trying to make a weekend that you both will remember. So it's kind of a win-win situation in itself. And the thing is, like, about music festivals is that if you're going to this music festival, you obviously probably like a lot of the artists that are being played. So you already have a lot of commonalities with the girl. I mean, I'm a huge fan of like rock music, and like I love the Killers, and like I've had a couple of conversations with girls, and I'm pretty sure like we connected on the level of like just knowing like all these albums, and I guess talking about like how the songs related to our lives and what we experienced at that point. So if you're like someone that loves this type of stuff, I mean, just like the music in itself, like you can definitely, you're gonna attract the type of girls like automatically. Like it's just because of like who you are. You know, it's just like if you're into like basketball and you go to a basketball game, you can probably relate to like being a fan of the Cavs or knowing all about LeBron's like stats and stuff like that. So, anyways, just want to make this quick video to share my experience. Leave a comment or subscribe if you haven't done so already, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Thank you.